Folks, we've made it. This is it. The semifinals, college football. We only get what, Marshall? 3 more games, my brother, and it's all over. So let's go ahead and enjoy here, folks. Guys, we got multiple fun ones for you here. Obviously, Notre Dame, Penn State, and then in our other clip, you guys can go ahead and click on that. It can be posted right after this one. We got Ohio State, Texas as well. So jumping on in here, first game on the board, we got number 7 Notre Dame taking on number 6 Penn State, and Notre Dame, Marshall, just ever so slightly coming in here favored minus 1.5 points, minus about 118 here on the money line. Penn State coming in at minus 102. You can find them at that plus money, and the over under in this game coming in 44.5 in total points. 51% of the money line bets are on Notre Dame. 67% of the spread bets are on Notre Dame, but only 38% of the money is on the over in this game. Pretty rare number there for an over. So with all that said, my man, let's start here with who's going to win this thing. Notre Dame, Penn State. Who is Marshall Acosta going to be riding with here?
I'm riding with the Fighting Irish in this one. I look at this Notre Dame team, and, when their schedule came out, everyone was like, cakewalk. We're going to see them in the playoff. They'll probably lose in the first round because they haven't been tested. Yep. But that's where their schedule, honestly, it kind of improved itself over time by just kind of the teams that they were scheduled to play, that they did play, were actually pretty decent. Texas A&M, who they beat on the road at A&M, one of the most hostile environments in the country at Kyle Field. They won. They beat Louisville. They beat both Navy and Army that were ranked in the top 25 at the time. So they did beat some quality opponents that kind of built them up for, different situations and whatnot. And I think that has really been a strength for Notre Dame this year, just in the fact of that they have played teams that do have a pulse. A lot of these teams that, we saw heading into the year on their schedule, we all thought to ourselves, man, they play maybe one to two teams that will actually have a pulse by the end of the year. But then if you look at the records of the teams that they did play, they were actually pretty good. They were actually pretty solid. So I'll give Notre Dame some credit for that. And then on top of that, what they did against Georgia last week, that was a defensive showdown. The first half went exactly how I thought it was going to go. 6-3, 6-3. I would have maybe thought maybe a touchdown in there, maybe 10-6, but 6-3 nonetheless was no surprise to me because those are the two elite defenses. And Notre Dame really, at that second half, with that kick return touchdown to really set the tone. From there on out, the momentum was just on their side. And I know Georgia did score a touchdown to kind of make things interesting. But even then, I still felt confident. I still felt more confident in Notre Dame than I did in Georgia potentially coming back and winning the game with, obviously, Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. So I like this Notre Dame team. I saw today that Jeremiah Love is also looking like he's going to potentially play against Penn State, which is huge. He's one of the most electric running backs in the country. The Notre Dame offense goes as far as Jeremiah Love takes them, which he's took them pretty far. We all saw him break off that huge run against Indiana. He obviously had to leave in the third quarter in the Georgia game, but up until then was having a solid game in the running department. And so I like Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame's head coach, Marcus Freeman. I think that Notre Dame has not only the better defense, I think I would probably lean towards them offensively as well, just because of what they can do in the run game. And now I know Penn State has a good run game as well. But I like the fact that Notre Dame kind of has that dual threat with Riley Leonard, who I know he's nowhere near him, but he gives me kind of like a Josh Allen vibe. I like Marcus Freeman more as a coach. I like Notre Dame's defense more. And you know what? I like Riley Leonard more as a quarterback in this game. I think that he is going to make enough winning plays because, Riggs, you said it perfectly, man. Like, I'm right there with you of where, like, after every week of Notre Dame, I'm like, I'm not a Riley Leonard believer. Like, I don't, nope, like, not for me. Well, I'm starting to buy in a little bit because what this guy does with his legs.
Problem is, you're going to buy in, and the day you buy in, what's going to happen?
Yeah. I'm totally fully prepared for him to just lay an egg, fumble 3 times, a couple picks. I'm going to sip the Irish Kool-Aid. I'm going to go Notre Dame in this game because I like the coach, like the defense and I like the quarterback more in this instance. And I think Notre Dame is playing their best football right now. You can also make that argument with Penn State. As I said before, the offense for Penn State has been rolling, but Penn State has not played a defense like this, like Notre Dame's.
Everybody said Penn State had the easiest path to this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. And I'm sure Notre Dame and Georgia, both teams that Penn State could have played in the semifinal, obviously it being Penn State, but I'm sure both Notre Dame and Georgia looked at that and said, not so fast. Like getting to the Final Four was one thing for Penn State, but I'm sure Notre Dame and Georgia looked at it and said, if they get there, that's where it ends.
To be fair, though, people to this moment, bro, are giving Georgia too much credit. Like, why are we acting surprised that Notre Dame
It's
beat
the
them?
brand. It's the coach.
It's the brand. So everyone kind of looks at like Notre Dame and says, "Oh well, look at Notre Dame's path. They beat Georgia," and I'm like, "Bruh, that wasn't Georgia." I don't know. It's a backup quarterback.
Like, I'm with you there. Of that, like, that's not a true Georgia dominant team. Like, I completely agree.
It doesn't feel like Notre Dame upset Georgia to get here.
Yeah, but maybe a credit. Maybe that's a credit to Marcus Freeman. Maybe it's a credit to like Notre Dame as a team. It's like, I wasn't surprised. By the way, I picked Notre Dame to beat Georgia, like in that game. Like you did too. I was very convinced that Notre Dame would win that game. And granted, I thought it would have been a lot closer. I didn't expect Notre Dame to really run the ball and just really run the clock out towards the end of the game like they did. But they did it. And then, I mean, is it crazy to say that was the biggest win for Notre Dame football in over a decade? I don't think it's crazy to say that. Like, what other wins did obviously Brian Kelly, did a good job coaching there. But I mean,
But this is why we all think they're frauds.
Yeah.
Because that's your best win. Like that. So look at them now against a powerhouse in Penn State, who is a legitimate football team and plays legitimate football teams. And it feels like what's holding us back from taking Penn State is James Franklin. Is that fair? Is that fair to all those players that are so good and they're playing their asses off and they're winning games and they're doing it? And we all come back to, but man, I just don't trust James Franklin in the big game. That's what we all keep saying. But James Franklin keeps winning. So
but the thing is, it's like I saw people bouncing back and forth. Do you consider that win over Boise State heading into that game? Did you consider that a big game for James Franklin? Okay,
bro. Okay. Look, y'all, if you guys watch any of our shows, of all people, I was the one person who came out and said, Boise State, that's a fucking mistake. If you take Boise State, you're stupid. The seating is way off. The coaching is way off. One running back is not going to beat Penn State. Bro, if you know anything about football and you don't just buy in, Travis Hunter's he's a this, and shout out to his girlfriend. And if you don't buy into all this stupid Heisman crap, you knew Boise State was not going to beat Penn State, bro. Come on, dog. If you know football, that was so freaking obvious. It wasn't even funny. So for me, I feel like we have two coaches.
Maybe it was more competitive, but I would have thought maybe it was a tad more competitive. But we should have known that Penn State.
Bro, I said on the show, I said he could run for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they won't win the game.
Yeah. And they'll lose because they can't stop them, because they don't have the athletes on the field to be able to contain.
No, and teams like Penn State, bro, if you have one way to beat them, they're going to find a way to stop you from doing that one thing. You have to be more like Notre Dame, and you have to have multiple ways that you can beat that football team. And Notre Dame does have ways that they can beat Penn State. Now, with all this said, I don't trust Freeman. I don't trust Franklin. Low-key, it's a wash to me, bro. It's like two coaches that I find fraudulent, right?
I love that after all this, we get to the end,
dog,
and you're like, I still don't trust Freeman.
I don't trust them, bro. It's two quarterbacks I don't trust either. No offense to Leonard or Allard. Neither of those dudes is the top 4 pick or top 4 round pick, in my opinion. I don't think either of those two guys gets drafted early like that. I don't believe. I mean, the defenses are kind of the star of the show here. I don't think that's really a secret to anybody. This is a 24-20 kind of football game. I don't really care how you cut this cake. It's about 24-20. I regret to inform myself, I'm feeling lucky. Give me the Irish.
Wow.
Oh, oh.
Congrats to all Penn State money
Well,
line bettors. You've officially won. You
next
got me
game.
and
Next
Riggs both
game.
on Notre Dame. So
Oh my God! All right, guys, we're on Notre Dame, which is terrible, right? Because now we just gave all the stupid. We just gave userbot 727 ammo to say idiots,
Yep.
Penn State all the way.
Yep.
So hey, you guys go Penn State, man. Good luck to you. Don't blame you at all. But in this pick'em, we're gonna rock with the team and the coach that we feel is just a little tiny bit better, little tiny bit more proven up to this point, and a very, very motivated Riley Leonard as well. So with all that said, guys, good luck to you there. I did say Marshall 44.5 is the total. I said I'm going to go 24-20, so I am ever so slightly on the under here. Are you on the under as well, or do you think we see a little bit more points here?
I'm going to take the under here. These defenses are too good to allow more than 44 combined points in the game, in my opinion. I think it's going to be around, honestly, 20 to 17 in favor of Notre Dame. I think late game heroics, I do think that both quarterbacks have the potential to turn the ball over, maybe like not only once, but maybe twice in this game.
I can see it.
I'm not going to be surprised if Riley Leonard gets the ball punched out of him as he's going, as he's doing a quick QB draw, or if he throws a pick because Penn State's corners are very good, or if Drew Aller gets picked off because Notre Dame's corners are also very good. I'm not going to be surprised when both of these defenses show out.
If Jeremiah Love is not playing in this game, we will hold off. We will give you guys our picks on game day. Once again, we'll be live before every single game going into the weekend, guys. That is 2 semifinal games, a Thursday game, a Friday game, Saturday NFL, Sunday NFL, Monday NFL. We'll be live 1 hour before every single one of those games here on YouTube. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Don't miss any of the shows. We'll be live for half an hour, giving you the updated picks. We're waiting on if Jalen Hurts is playing. We're waiting on Jeremiah Love. We got a lot of different things we're waiting for kind of throughout football for the week. So make sure you guys tune into those shows. And also, really quick, got to plug myself here, Marshall, sportsforummedia.com. The man brought up the golf. And we got that golf article for you up there for the Sony Open 2025. So all you golf fans, go check that out. But guys, that is it for our semifinal game for Notre Dame, Penn State. We're rocking with the Irish to find a way to punch their ticket to the Natty. Good luck to you guys, and we'll see you for the national championship.